Brothers and sisters, you won't believe what happened when a gunman tried to open fire in a church. Miracles? Let's talk about miracles. Welcome to the last dispensation. You're living in it.
We don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going, don't really know.
Miraculous interventions when guns fail to fire. In this video, we'll explore the miraculous intervention that occurred during a recent attempted church shooting in Pennsylvania. We'll also look at other examples of guns failing to fire during attacks and discuss what these events can teach us about the power of faith, brothers and sisters, and divine protection. An article in the Deseret News, the article's about an attempted shooting that occurred during a church service in Pennsylvania. On Sunday, a man named Bernard Jr. Polite, 26 years old, walked up to the front of Jesus Dwelling Place Church in North Braddock, Pennsylvania, and pointed a gun. That's right, pointed a gun at the pastor while the pastor is pontificating up on the stand. Reverend Glenn Germany. While Germany was delivering his sermon, the incident was captured on the church's live stream. Polite's, I think I'm pronouncing his word, is a Polite's gun, I think I'm pronouncing his last name right, jammed and failed to fire. How often have we heard that one? And a church deacon named Clarence McAllister then tackled Polite and wrestled the gun away from him. Polite later told authorities that voices in his head had told him to shoot the pastor. He said he planned to shoot the pastor and then wait to be arrested so he could clear his mind. Now, I know, brothers and sisters, there are people, I hope he gets the right treatment. My dad had schizophrenia. People like that do not believe, they do, in my opinion, people like that do not belong in prisons. They need help. And unfortunately, people are still in prisons like that. But that's not what we're talking about now. The pastor, Reverend Germany, said he has forgiven Polite, who appeared to be suffering from some form of mental illness. Polite was arrested, is facing charges of aggravated assault and attempted homicide. Authorities also discovered a man's body shot dead inside Polite's home on the same day, but it is unclear if Polite is connected to that shooting. I would say the chances are probably pretty close. So yes, miraculously, I would say miraculously, his gun jammed and failed to fire. This is not the first time a gun has failed to fire during an attempted attack. In 2012, a gunman opened fire at a church in Aurora, California. Do you know I used to say open fired? Open fired. I used to say that. But not anymore. Barely a few years ago, I learned the correct term. It's open fire. It's opened fire at a church in Aurora, Colorado. But in a church in Aurora, Colorado, but his gun jammed after the first shot, preventing further casualties. In 2017, a man attempted to shoot a woman in her car in Chicago, but his gun malfunctioned. The woman was able to drive away unharmed. And then who can forget President and Sister Nelson's experience, which a lot of people say was false or embellished, but not so. Not so. It's like the first vision, right? There's many different accounts of the first vision. Same principle. President Nelson shared his stories about miraculous interventions when guns have jammed or failed to fire during attempted attacks. President Nelson has also told a story about being in Africa when a couple of men showed up and one of them tried to shoot him. However, when the gun jammed, President Nelson was able to get away unharmed. So it's stories like these, brothers and sisters, that these are miracles. I know they are. When I say miracles, I mean Heavenly Father is guiding. Now, let's take a little side trip here. Here's an example. This has nothing to do with the video, but let's take a little side trip. Do I think that our prophets and apostles are right about everything that comes out of their mouth? No, I don't. But my whole thing in the recent past is about cynicism, focusing on that. Or that's not faith promoting. It's just not. For example, when President Nelson in 2018 criticized U.S. gun laws, saying that, quote, that allow guns to go to people who shouldn't have them, close quote, he lamented the deaths of the 17 people, including the 14-year-old girl, Elena Petty, whose life was taken by the sniper's bullet. And this is just a little side thing real quick. Do I believe President Nelson spoke completely from inspiration? I disagree with him on that. I believe that people should have the right to bear arms and that laws like that are only going to allow bad guys to have the guns. Now, is President Nelson speaking to the world? Yes. Does he kind of has to be careful now? He's got to be careful what he says today. We're a global church. We're a worldwide church. And I've heard things from somebody the other day that he was with a group when we had to wear our masks. And this is third-hand account. But as he was wearing the mask, he came into a group of people and he said, "I hate wearing these. My wife makes me wear them." Now, do I know for sure that he said that? No. But it's possible that the brethren are saying things because they might have the weight of the powers that be upon them. Does that make sense? All right. Off of that side note, let's get back to miracles. These are powerful reminders, brothers and sisters, of principles of the unseen, that the Lord does intervene. And he does. And he has angels watching over us. Even when Satan's against us, it shows that even in the face of evil, our Heavenly Father intervenes to protect us, his children, and that faith and obedience to his commandments will also protect us and will bring those powers down from heaven when we need them. What do we learn from these miracles? They remind us of the power of faith and divine protection. As Latter-day Saints, we believe in the power of prayer, and we believe in intervention from God in our lives. President Nelson has taught us that, quote, God does notice us. He watches over us, but it is usually through another person that he meets our needs, close quote. In the Book of Mormon, we read of anti-Nephi Lehis who buried their weapons of war and made a covenant with God never to fight again. When their enemies attacked them, the anti-Nephi Lehis knelt in prayer, and the Lord caused the Lamanites to forget their anger. Right? Remember that story? The anger that was kindled against them was no longer. So, in conclusion, brothers and sisters, as we reflect on these miraculous events, let us remember the power of faith and the love of our Heavenly Father. He is always watching over us and will intervene in our lives when we need him most. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ding the bell again for notifications. Andrea and I love your support. We want your comments too in the comments section, your feedback. Do it in the comments section. If you'd like to contribute to the program, you can do so through Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. We also have products. I got some barbecue grills, barbecue gas grills, charcoal grills, and some charcoal. It's summertime, man. If you need a barbecue grill, get it through me. And you get a discount. All right. Until next time, thank you for your support and believe in miracles. because they happen to you all the time. They're called the tender mercies of the Lord.